I think, our most effective advocate. Now, as his critics were to learn, the governor is a dedicated and committed individual. He believes in standing up for his principles, and he's willing to take the heat necessary to engender a public debate on drug policy. The courage and commitment that Governor Johnson has shown by speaking out on drug policies has made it far easier for other elected officials at all levels of government to begin to tell the truth about drugs and drug policy. Some of the results of the governor's work in New Mexico became apparent this spring during the legislative session when he had a package of 8 legislative drug law reform bills in a package. The Linda Smith Center Drug Policy Foundation did a survey of public attitudes in New Mexico, and they discovered that 78% of the state support the medical use of marijuana. That's terrific, and that's 5 points higher than the national average. But most importantly, they discovered that 65% of the citizens of the state of New Mexico now support decriminalizing marijuana, and that's a direct result of the effective use of the bully pulpit by Governor Gary Johnson. When the history of the end of marijuana prohibition is written, and I hope that will be soon, I suspect that Gary Johnson's courageous public stand to end the drug war will be seen as the beginning of the official peace movement in this country, the new anti-war movement, a movement that will eventually lead us out of this quagmire called the war on drugs. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to a statesman who did what was right, and in so doing, forever changed the drug policy debate in this country. Governor Gary Johnson.
I wanted to let you know that I've got a great wife, Dee, who's come along in this group. Thank you, Dee. Also wanted to let you know that we have a couple of really great kids. Our son Eric is a freshman at Denver University. My daughter Saya is graduating from Boulder this spring, and she is graduating summa cum laude. So I tell you that hoping that you'll kind of do a brains by association deal. Keith mentioned that I started a business early on, a handyman business. I did. In 1974 in Albuquerque, I started a one-man handyman operation, me. Dee came on board, 2, and over the course of 20 years actually grew that business to employ 1,000 people. Electrical, mechanical, plumbing, pipe fitting, really the American dream come true. And I'm living proof that if you show up on time, if you do what you promised for people, if you do a little bit more than what you promised for people, that you can be successful. And again, it was really a dream come true. And since I've taken the office of governor 2 years ago, I sold that business. So when I get through being governor, I don't have to work. I'm not sure what that means, but that's like the American dream, right? You work hard, you make money, the freedom that's associated with that. And I would like you to all know also that I am an athlete. Something I dedicate myself to is being as physically fit as I can possibly be every single day of my life. That does not hold true as I'm standing here right now. In the 3 months ago, I broke my back, fractured my 4th and 5th T vertebrae, running early in the morning. And what it has reminded me, and I would like to remind all of you, is that we take for granted our health every single day when we get up, and it's something that we shouldn't take for granted. And I've had that revisited, and again, I hold that very important. I'm going to come through this personally with more resolve than ever and more thankfulness than ever for my health. I've competed in the Ironman triathlon 3 times. I've competed in it twice as governor, and I finished with my sunglasses on both times during governor, which just says I didn't finish in the dark. So. And I aspire to climb Mount Everest when I'm through being governor. 2 years from today, I intend to be on that mountain, hopefully summiting about 4 weeks from now, 2 years from now. Politics. I had never been involved in politics prior to becoming governor of New Mexico. I actually New Mexico is a state that's about 2-to-1 Democrats versus Republicans. I'm a Republican. I went to the Republican headquarters, said that I was going to announce my candidacy for governor. They told me that, hey, we like you, we like what you're saying, but you need to know that you will never get elected. It's not possible. You can't come from completely outside of politics and get elected in this state to the governor of the state. Well, it actually did happen. And why? Why would I get elected? I mean, just for a second. Why would you vote for somebody who's never been involved in politics before? Why would you vote for a triathlete, business person who's promising to bring a common sense business approach to state government, who's promising to put the issues that should be on the front burner regardless of political consequence? Why would you vote for somebody that's saying that? Well, maybe because you actually thought that that person might do that. All right? And then, if you think about that a little bit, all right, somebody that's going to put the issues that should be on the front burner regardless of the political consequences, think about that. Hey, you vote for somebody like that, and this guy's going to make me really mad at some point. I'm going to make everybody in the state really angry at some point. And I've succeeded in that, all right? I have always believed that politics is a high calling. So this is something that I wanted to do with my life. I've been given that opportunity. I have this greatest fear of leaving office thinking coulda, shoulda, woulda. And again, so I'm doing what I think is right. I also understand in this political process that you would have thousands of New Mexicans line up to say that I've just been the scourge on New Mexico. But that's the environment. That's the political environment. But again, I've been given this unique opportunity, and I want to make the most out of that opportunity. United States of America. I mean, what is the United States? What is it? What is the United States? It's life, it's liberty, it's the pursuit of happiness, right? I believe that government has a role in ensuring life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Government has a role to make sure that there's a level playing field so that everybody has access to that American dream. And what is it that we're all after in life? I mean, period. What are we after? Happiness. Anybody dispute that? You know, we want happiness. And what is fundamental to happiness? Fundamental to happiness is freedom. The ability to choose, the ability to make decisions, the ability to be whatever it is that you think you might be able to be. And again, government has a role in all this to ensure that everybody has an equal access to the freedoms that we do have. Again, I'm going to argue that the biggest success that I've had as governor is that I've put the issues that should be on the front burner, regardless of the consequences. So in New Mexico, when I took office, I think we were too high a tax state. We were like the third highest tax state in the United States as a percentage of income. Today we're 13th in that category. We still are taxed too heavily, but we've made improvements in that area. In the area of highways, we're building 500 miles of new four-lane highway in the state of New Mexico. We received an award in Washington for putting more dollars, for ratio-wise, putting more dollars into asphalt than any state in the United States. That's a pretty good award, I think. And that's what it's supposed to be about. Best product, best service, lowest price, right? I mean, that's prisons in New Mexico. We had a problem with prisons in New Mexico. We were housing about 600 prisoners out of state. The courts, federal courts, were running prisons in New Mexico. It was a huge issue. It was an issue that required us building a couple of prisons so that we could at least get our prisoners back in state. Big, huge issue, something that needed to get addressed. I addressed it. We reformed Medicaid in the state of New Mexico. It was out of control. We implemented a managed care